It's amazing. Hey, everybody, it's a victory day. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Let me get my IG folks in. Yes, I'm on a Saturday morning. Hey, hey, hey. Yes, I'm on a Saturday morning. How's everybody? I've got so many devices going on. Hold on. Well, it's a victory day. Yes, it is. Blessings, 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 blessings. Yeah, everybody's like, Jazz is on this early in the morning. I'm on. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Okay, okay. God bless you. God bless you. Remind me. Okay. God bless you. How is everybody? All right. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. IG folks are still sleeping. Facebook people are alive. Good morning. And some people like, why is Dr. Jazz on this early in the morning at 6:33? Why is she on this early in the morning? Number one is because I'm global. I'm global. I'm not local. I'm global. And so I've got some people in Australia. I've got some people in Africa. I've got some people around the world. Yeah, I'm on. Oh, I'm doing good, Miss Vicky. Thank you for asking. So I'm on early in the morning because I'm global. I'm not local. I'm global. All right, I'm global. All right, just a few more folks to come on in. I'm really on Facebook. I just let IG peep in. I'm on Facebook and I'm also on YouTube. I'm on Facebook and I'm also on YouTube. Yes, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, good morning. I'm a morning person. I've been up since 4:30. Yes, good morning. Good morning. It's a victory day. What's up, Annette? How are you? Good morning on purpose. Yeah, Sister Georgia last night was unbelievable, right, Sister Georgia? I'm going to have to bring her in. The connection was ridiculous. IG, hold on 1 second. Got to get y'all situated so y'all can look good. Or maybe I can look good. Okay, hold on. Don't go nowhere. IG people sleeping late. Facebook people are awake. All right. All right, good morning, and let me know where you guys are checking in from. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. I am in my sunroom. I'm waiting for the sun to come up. I'm in my sunroom. I just love this room. I love this room. It has all my trees and my plants. Anyway, oh yeah, give you a recipe for the smoothies I make sure. The UK, hello UK, how are you? All right, God bless you. Houston, Texas, ooh, God bless you. You've been up since 4:30, Marva in Trinidad. Oh my goodness, good to, I understand, I understand, I understand, I understand. Um, All right, y'all know my three words. I want you to share, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to support. All right, I want you to share, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to support. New York is in the house. All right, good morning, York, PA. I lived in York, PA for 11 years. All right, so I want you to share, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to support. Just a couple of announcements. I'm continuing my series on the 8 blessings of the believer. I didn't get to do one on yesterday because I normally work out. So, 8 blessings of the believer. 8 blessings of the believer. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come on this morning, one of the reasons why I wanted to come on this morning is because this week begins a very important feast, and that is the Feast of the Tabernacle. What does it begin? The Feast of the Tabernacle. I know y'all in bed. I know it's okay. You're in bed and you're listening to me. Fantastic. All right, but you got to at least give me back something. Detroit is represented. Fantastic. So this is the Feast of the Tabernacle. This is the week of the Feast of the Tabernacle, and it started on October the 2nd, and it's going till October the 9th. What is it? It's the Feast of the Tabernacle. Started on October 2nd and going to October the 9th. By the way, it's a victory day, LaShawn. Thank you. By the way, remember, I want you to do 3 things. I want you to share, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube page. I am Dr. Jazz. Or if you come into the conference, finally me for real, and then support. Now, there's several ways you can support my ministry. And on IG, it's badges. On Facebook, it's stars. On IG, it's badges. On Facebook, it is stars. All right, on IG, it is badges. You see it, it's badges. On Facebook, it is stars. All right, so hold on, let me see. Yeah, badges or stars. Hey, Duckett, God bless you. All right, um, so this is the week of the Feast of the Tabernacle. What am I saying? This is the week of the Feast of the Tabernacle. This is the week of the Feast of the Tabernacle. Now, in Jewish holidays, in Jewish culture, there is 3 feasts that God told them to come together. How many feasts? There's 3 feasts that God tell the children of Israel, make sure you don't overlook them. Make sure you don't overlook them. Make sure you are in the place of worship. Get to Jerusalem. Get to Jerusalem. Camille, I like how you put that FOT, Feast of the Tabernacle. So there's how many feasts? There's 3 feasts. Three. We call them major feasts, major holidays. So for those of us who are Americans or Caribbean or from the island, what are some of the major holidays in your country? What are some of the major holidays in your country? What are some of the major? What are some of the major holidays in your country? What are some of the major holidays? Hold on, let me move my chair. Yep, what are some of the major holidays? Right now, we're getting ready, right, Miss Yvonne and Docket? We're getting ready. We're getting ready to go into what? Thanksgiving. That's a major holiday in America. Hey, right, Thanksgiving. What's another one? Christmas. Christmas. That's another major holiday. All right, Thanksgiving, Christmas. What else? Okay. What's another major holiday? Okay, Independence Day. That's right. Boxing Day. Right, right. Okay, Heroes Day. Where is that at? Where's Heroes? 4th of July. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, thanks for sharing, everybody. Thanks for sharing. Again, don't forget to share, subscribe, and support. On Facebook, you can support by purchasing stars. In IG, you purchase badges or something like that. I don't know what it is on YouTube. All right, so there is these major holidays. All right, 4th of July, Easter, Christmas, those kinds of things. Well, in the Jewish culture, oh, Resurrection Day, right? In the Jewish culture, they have three major feasts or three major festival. Okay, the Cayman's Island. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Miss Patricia. So in the Jewish culture, there are three major feasts. How many feasts? There are three. Now there's a whole bunch of them, but there's three of them. There's three major feasts. And those three feasts, God tells them, make sure you gather your family and get to Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem was the key place of worship in Jesus' day. Jerusalem was the key place of worship. Oh, this is going to be good this morning. This is okay. Jerusalem was the key place of worship. So the children of Israel had a place to worship, and they had a time set aside for corporate worship. All right, let me say it again. The Jews or the children, the Hebrews or Israel had a place to worship, and that place was Jerusalem. So if you're reading through the Psalms with me, they're like, oh, Jerusalem. There's a lot of emphasis of Jerusalem because Jerusalem was like the capital. You know, like how Washington, D.C. is the capital of America. If you're in another country, what is the capital? What is the capital? Well, just like Washington, D.C. is the capital of America, Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. So they would gather, good morning from Florida, Sandra, God bless you. They would gather in Jerusalem 3 times a year for major worship. Major worship. For major worship. All right. 3 times a year for major worship. If you guys can hear me on Facebook, give me a thumbs up, making sure y'all can hear me. All right. They will gather in Jerusalem for major worship. That would be 3 times a year. They will gather their family for major worship. 3 times a year. 3 times a year they will gather. Other times they will be worshiping in their own places, in their own homes, in their own village. But 3 times a year they would gather. 3 times a year. Thank you, Patricia, for letting me know. 3 times a year they would gather for major worship in Jerusalem. So there was a place and there was a purpose. There was a place and there was a purpose. Now, what are the 3 times of the year? And why would Dr. Jazz come on so early in the morning when we're trying to sleep in tonight to this morning? First of all, I'm early in the morning because I'm global. I'm not local, I'm global. So somebody in Africa, somebody in Australia, somebody's India is already awake. Okay, America may not be awake, the East Coast, but the West Coast is already up. All right. So 3 times a year they would gather. So can anybody tell me one out of those? What are the 3 times a year they would gather? What are the 3 times of the year they would gather in Jerusalem for corporate worship? They will gather in Jerusalem. Anybody want to tell me if you know those 3 times? It's three very important feasts. 3 times a year they would gather for corporate worship. What are the three? What are the three? Right. 12 in the UK. That's what I'm saying. I'm global. I'm not local. I'm global. I am Dr. Jazz globally. All right. 3 times a year, they would gather They would gather. Okay, there you go. All right. All right. Okay, somebody has one. Somebody has one. Okay. Number one, Passover. All right, number one, Passover. The feast of the Passover. That's right. Number two, the feast of Pentecost. That's right. Number two, the feast of Pentecost. All right. And what's number three? The feast of the tabernacle. You guys are so great. The feast of, all right, y'all got it. The feast of the Passover, the Feast of Pentecost or harvest. Another word for Feast of Pentecost is the Feast of harvest. Okay, Feast of, it's the Passover. All right, I got it. You got it right. Passover, Pentecost, and Tabernacle. Passover, Pentecost, and Tabernacle. You guys are right. Give yourself a hand. Give yourself a hand. Fantastic. Now, what does that mean, Dr. Jazz? It means that this week begins the Feast of the Tabernacle. What does this week begin? It begins the Feast of the Tabernacle. Give it back to me. What does it begin? This week started on yesterday, October the 2nd, which was Cam and Chloe, the twins' birthday, began the Feast of the Tabernacle. And the Feast of the Tabernacle is going to go from October the 2nd to October the 9th. All right. All right. From October the 2nd to October the 9th. All right. Y'all got it? From October the 2nd to October the 9th. The Feast of the Tabernacle begins, give it back to me, give it back to me, October the 2nd to October the 9th. Give it back to me, give it back to me. Give it back to me. This is the Feast of the Tabernacle. This is the Feast of the Tabernacle. It begins October the 2nd to October the 9th. Give it back to me. Let me make sure y'all got it. We are now into the Feast of Tabernacle. All right. So remember these three feasts. Y'all catching it? These three feasts. God tells the children of Israel, I want you to come together for corporate worship. Now, by the way, when somebody said, Dr. Jazz, why are you teaching on Saturday? We know, and Facebook, you guys can hear me because I was having some Facebook challenging yesterday. Let me know you guys can hear me loud and clear. We know that in the Jewish culture, they worship corporately on Saturday, not Sunday, on Saturday. We know. Make sure you guys can hear me. You can hear me on the IG. Can y'all hear me on the IG? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement. That's before the feast. Okay, good. You guys can hear me. All right. So we know that in Jewish culture, they worship on Saturday. So that's why I can teach on Saturday. They gather together on Saturday. They gathered together on Saturday. All right. The Sabbath started on Friday and Friday night, and then they worship on Saturday morning. I used to be 7 days Adventist. I'm still in some way. Any 7 days Adventist out there? I used to be 7 days Adventist. Any 7 days Adventist out there? Any 7 days Adventist out there? I used to be. I'm not 7 days I'm not 7 days Adventist in regards to religion, but I am 7 days Adventist in regards to practice. Yeah, that's a good one to say. I'm not 7 days Adventist in regards to religion, But oh, there comes the sun. See, I wanted you guys to see, here it comes, the dawning of the day, the dawning. So I am not 7 days Adventist in regards to religion. All right, Google, how are you? What time is it in South Africa? But I'm 7 days Adventist in regards to practice. I think there's something you can learn from every religion. From every religion, there's something you can learn. I used to be Roman Catholic. I used to be 7 days Adventist, Rastafarian, uh, Baptist, Pentecostal. I've been in all of them. All right. So I've never been a Muslim, so I don't know that one. Okay, so there is the Feast of the Tabernacle, and for those of you who are 7 days Adventists, they would worship on. They would start the Sabbath on Friday at sunset, which around 6 p.m. sunset, to Saturday sundown. They will start it from sunset to sundown. Okay, they were started from sunset on Friday to sundown. So that means started on last night. We stepped into. Thanks Google for telling me the time. Yeah, I'm 7 days believer. That's right. So I'm a 7 day believer. That's why I tell people I'm 7 days. I'm a 7 day believer. I'm not just a Sunday. I'm a 7 day believer. Who's a 7 day believer? Put it in the chat. 7 day believer. So the Feast of the Tabernacle started on last night from sundown, and it's going to go all the way. It's going to go all the way. It's going to go all the way till October 8th. October 9th, rather. Of course, October 8th is my birthday. Okay, so it's going all the way till October 9th. And God gives some amazing instruction to the Jewish people on how to honor the Feast of the Tabernacle. And so I thought this morning I didn't want us to miss the opportunity to get together for the Feast of the Tabernacle. And at the end of this, I'm going to share with you how you can get together for the Feast of the Tabernacle. In fact, there's a blessing. I'm getting ready to teach from Psalms 1, but before I do, I got to show you all this. There's a blessing. There's a blessing that is released during this Feast of Tabernacle that I don't want you guys to miss. There is a blessing that comes during this feast that I don't want you guys to miss. Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14. What did I say? Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14, verse 16. Again, those of you who joining me, thank you so very much. Do me a favor. Would you share, subscribe, and don't forget to support this broadcast. Share, subscribe, and support it. All right, Zechariah 14. And on IG, you can do it by badges, purchase badges. That's how you want to give. And in Facebook, you can do stars, or all of my giving is in my link tree. Okay. Zechariah chapter 14. We've just stepped into the Feast of the Tabernacle. We are in the Feast of the Tabernacle. And Docket, there's a blessing that is released. There's a blessing that's been released for those of, okay, Zechariah 14, 16. Okay, here it is, Zechariah 14. You guys there? All right. Good morning, Brown. How are you? Okay, verse number 16. Then it will come about that any who are left, I'm reading from the New American Standard Bible. Ooh, look, see the skies coming. Verse 16. Then it will come about that any who are left of all of the nations that went against Jerusalem will go up from year to year, to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and celebrate the Feast of Booths, or the Feast of the Tabernacle. And it will be that whichever of the families, put the word families, whichever of the families of the earth does not go up to Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, there will be no rain on them. If the family of Egypt does not go up or enter, then no rain will fall on them. It will be the plague with which the Lord smites the nation who do not go up to celebrate the Feast of the Tabernacle. This will be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all the nations who do not go up to celebrate the Feast of Booths, of the Feast of Tabernacle. In that day, there will be inscribed on the bells of the horses, holy to the Lord, and the cooking pot in the Lord's house will be like the boils before the altar. All right. Hey, listen, this is a powerful thing. So God said, listen, in the Feast of the Tabernacle, I want to release a blessing. The blessing is described in the form of rain. Rain. That's why we're in a rainy season. And he commands the children of Israel, do not overlook this holiday. Do not overlook this holiday. Do not take it for granted. Do not take it lightly, because if you don't observe it, there's not going to be no rain in your family. Oh my God. Does anybody want it to rain in your family? Does anybody want it to rain in your family? Does another word for rain is blessings. Another word for rain is blessings. And I came on this morning because I don't want you or your family to miss the blessing. There's a blessing that God wants to release on our family. And there's a blessing God wants to release on our family. And so I came on to encourage you. Do not take this week lightly. Do not take this week like, okay, yes, South Africa, it's raining. Google, fantastic. All right. All right. Do not take this week lightly. Now, because of COVID-19, y'all still there? Give me back some feedback. Y'all still there? Give me back some feedback. Give me some feedback. All right. Again, we want you to share, subscribe, and support. We want you to share. We want you to subscribe, and we want you to support. All right. We want you to share. We want you to subscribe and support. Now, because of COVID-19, because of COVID-19, because of COVID-19, we cannot gather, we cannot gather, because of COVID-19, we cannot gather physically. Okay, because of COVID-19, we cannot gather physically because of COVID-19. But the principle is as important, if not the practice. Let me say that again. The principle is just as important, even not the practice. All right. So the principle, give me back the word principle. The principles are important. The principles are important, because while we may not be Jewish, there are some principles that still apply to us. Y'all got it? While we may not be Jewish, the principles still apply to us. Okay, give it back to me. While we may not be Jewish, see, there's something that is not a practice, but it's a principle. It's not a practice, but it's a principle. The principle is, do not miss the opportunity to gather your family for corporate worship. That's the principle. The principle is, do not miss the opportunity to gather your family for what? Corporate worship. Give it back to me. The principle is do not miss the opportunity to gather your family for corporate worship. Give it back to me. The principle is do not miss the opportunity to gather your family for what? Corporate worship. There you go. There you go. For example, let me go a little bit deeper. We are not 7 days Adventists in the sense that we do not keep the Sabbath like how they do. However, the principle is this: do not let 7 days go by without you getting some rest. Yeah, what did I say? I do not practice the Sabbath like the 7 days Adventist, but I apply the principle. Y'all better get this. The principle is do not let 7 days go by without you getting some rest. Do not let 7 days go by without you getting some rest. Did y'all catch it? Do not let 7 days go by without you getting some rest. Whether the rest, whatever day you are on, the rest may be on Tuesday. You can get rest on Tuesday. You can get rest on Wednesday. You can rest on Thursday. You can rest on Friday. You can rest on Saturday. You can rest whatever day. Do not let 7 days go by. That's the principle. The principle of the Sabbath is do not let 7 days go by without you getting some rest. It's going to be dangerous for your health. It will be dangerous for you spiritually. Okay, so again, there's some things in the Jewish culture. We take the principle and not the practice. All right? We take the principle and not the practice. Well, the same is true with the Feast of the Tabernacle or with any other feast. The same is true. We take the principle, and the Feast of the Tabernacle, which began yesterday, going all the way till the 9th, there's a principle in there that we have to apply. And the principle is this: gather your family for corporate worship. What did I say? The principle is gather your family for corporate worship. Give it back to me. What's the gather your family for corporate worship? But Pastor Jazz, there's COVID-19. How do we gather our family for corporate worship when the church is closed, when the synagogue is closed, when the temple is closed? How do we gather our family during this Feast of the Tabernacle? For those of you who just joining me, I want you to subscribe. I want you to share, and I want you to support. And one of the ways you can do it on IG, it's badges, and on Facebook, it is stars. All the given information is on there. How do we gather our family for corporate worship during the Feast of the Tabernacle? Now, on Sunday morning, can I ask you guys a question? On Sunday morning, or the broadcast is interrupted? Okay, can you guys hear me on IG, Facebook? Y'all can still hear me, let me know. Okay. All right, so we know the church is not a building. We know the church is a body of believers. The church is not a building. The church is a body of believers. And the church worship individually, but we can worship corporately also. We worship individually, but we can worship how? Corporately. Oh, it's going in and out, in and out. Okay. Facebook, it's going in and out. If it's going in and out, you guys may have to jump on to IG or jump on to my YouTube. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm waiting for those on Facebook. Okay, Facebook, give me 1 minute. I'm going to go out and come back in. Is that okay, Facebook? I'm going to go out and come back in. I'm going to go out and come back in. Give me 1 minute. Hold on. Okay. Facebook, I'm going out and coming back in. Hold on. Yeah, you can go to my YouTube. I'm going out Facebook and come back in. IG, don't you move. Yeah, it's going in and